downward spiral, downward spiral, downward spiral, downward spiral, downward spiral.
Despicable Me 2.
Bruh, how could you think this movie's bad? I mean, it expands the first movie in a great way, and it's Illumination's last great movie.
Did you know that this movie's tagline on Letterboxd is back to work?
I mean, it makes sense he's going back to work.
That's probably the most generic tagline you could possibly put for a sequel.
But anyway, let's take a look at... I'm watching this video to take a look at my perspective on Despicable Me 2 and why I think it's a great sequel. Despicable Me 3, though, that movie's garbage, which is later on this list. I think that right there. Yeah, that movie's garbage. That's a different story. But Despicable Me 2 is great.
Sequel of all time. Is that official, or did Letterboxd do that? Like, huh? Also, fun fact, this is currently the one and only Illumination movie to be nominated.
Well, it makes sense. I'm kind of surprised the first movie didn't get nominated. Like, I'm very surprised. Well, Toy Story 3 winning obviously makes sense, and I do agree that was my favorite, and I can definitely agree with it winning there. It's also my favorite animated movie from that year. But I'm sorry the first movie wasn't nominated that year. Yet 2 was nominated this year, even though it obviously lost to Frozen. The Cruise was good, but I haven't seen it in a long time. Wind Rises, I've seen it and it is pretty great. I've been getting into Studio Ghibli recently. I watched Spirited Away not too long ago and I actually loved it. It's already in my top 10 movies of all time because that's how perfect it is.
For Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. This one. I just... Okay. I mean, it is one of the better ones, I guess.
Dude, it's their best movie. Well, I'll explain why in a minute as we go along with the video.
It's also not very good.
Are you kidding me? Look, it has the exact same charm as the original. I mean, it has all the same stuff as the original, and it expands on the first movie totally fine and everything. What I like about it is I like the new characters and the new plot with Gru getting married and the minion stuff in this movie was actually pretty interesting.
Good. Some of the charm from the first film is still intact.
Bruh, it has the same charm and everything. I mean, it's still the same magic as the original. There's nothing that feels like a takeaway. The third one, though, that movie is ugh.
And there's a couple of decent jokes here and there.
I mean, there are some jokes here that are just kind of stupid and unfunny, but that's Illumination for you, I guess. But I look past them still with this movie.
I still really like Gru and his relationship with the Goyles. And
yeah, that part was pretty great. I mean, it was about the same charm as the first movie.
Even though it's a really generic sequel trope to just give him a female love interest.
I mean, I guess you're wrong there. It may seem like a generic sequel, kind of. It's definitely not a Shrek 2 or Toy Story 2, where it's like one of the greatest sequels of all time, but it is a great sequel that expands on the first movie in a great way.
I don't know, she's kind of fun, I guess.
Lucy was a pretty good new character, and I think it was a nice thing for a sequel.
The relationship isn't really that fleshed out or anything, but it's fine. I like how they gave Dr. Nefario a fitting storyline.
Yeah, that was actually a really great part. That's definitely one of the biggest strong points in this movie, and also help make it better than the first, even.
About wanting to leave and keep doing evil things. Plus, of course, I gotta talk about the
Oh yeah, El Macho is awesome. He is better than Vector. He's actually better. Somehow better.
Epicness that is El Macho. He's not really a great villain or anything because he doesn't have that much time to be villain.
Are you kidding me? Well, he might have much time to be villainy, but he can still be a great villain no matter what. I mean, there's many villains in fiction that are still good villains even if they don't get much screen time. The first movie Vector did get more screen time for sure, but it still did it fine here.
But come on, he's El Macho. That's epic.
Yeah, that is epic.
Ludicrously excessive fake death is probably the funniest part of the movie. Oh.
Yeah, the other part was awesome. I mean, once again, this movie has this movie takes what made the original great and improved on it. And
Oh, and also I like that nacho hat. It's
that there was awesome. Yeah. I mean, this movie has everything has everything that you like about the original, but better. I mean, it has better villain. It has better characters.
very cool hat. I want one.
I want that!
This movie is watchable enough and has some fun elements.
It has a lot of them. I mean, the movie's 98 minutes long, and I can't think of any. There are very little moments that are stupid and everything. Well, there are some because it's elimination, but still.
But unfortunately, a lot of it is just generic, meandering kids
I mean, I wanted to get elimination for you, but still.
movie crap. Unlike the first movie, which had a pretty tight focus on its story, this
one does too. Are you kidding me? I mean, it still does. The 3 did too, but that movie was garbage.
one's got a bunch of subplots that it divides its time between, and it messes with the pacing.
The pacing was fine. I mean, the switch between minion scenes and the groove scenes a lot, but it worked fine.
Making it feel like very little is happening to advance the story. There's barely a...
Bruh, they made the story fine. I mean, the macho stuff has advanced fine. There's the minion nonsense and Gru dating Lucy. Yeah.
second act, so by the time we get to the third act climax, I'm like, oh, we're here already? That
I mean, it does end suddenly, but I can look past it.
doesn't feel right. There's also a ton of filler that serves no purpose.
I mean, the first movie had minion scenes and stuff too, so yeah. I mean, these scenes are filler, but I look past them because the rest of the movie is still great.
Other than to make the babies in the audience laugh. And that includes...
I mean, I think I laughed at them a lot when I saw it from theaters when I was, like, 7 years old, but I still remember most of the movie. If I rewatched it today, I would probably still love it as much as I did back then.
includes the far larger number of minions.
Yeah, I mean, there are more of them, but they work well in this case, and they don't take away from the movie at all, because I mean the rest of the movie still has the same charm as the original. Then the third one, though, the minions became way worse than they already are, and they decided to just leave Gru at the end for no reason. That movie is garbage, just flat out terrible. It is actually my second least favorite movie of all time, with my first being The Last Airbender live action movie from 2010.
Scenes. I don't hate the minions in this one, but I do feel nothing towards them.
I mean, I can feel nowadays, I feel nothing with them too, but the ones that they don't take away from too much of the movie. They're still really entertaining.
They're just there, being their delightfully no longer entertaining selves. So yeah, a bit of a mixed bag. Could have been better, but could have been worse.
I think it's a great sequel. I mean, it expands the first movie in a great way. There's a great villain. The new plot was pretty good. I really liked El Macho, and I better than Vector. And the Purple Minion stuff was really cool. There were some weird stuff, like the Minion stuff, and Mario having a boyfriend, and I thought that was kind of weird, but that's only one scene. I mean, it doesn't take away from the movie at all. Overall, I think it's even better than the first movie.
I guess I'd willingly sit through it again if I was babysitting a child who really wanted to watch it. Though if they asked me to put on Minions, I would grab the DVD, then pretend to trip and accidentally drop the DVD out a nearby open window where it would fall into a wood chipper I conveniently set up.
I thought Minions was okay. I mean, it's not good, but it's not bad. It's just nothing. It's just very soulless. I mean, it's entertaining, but it's just a very soulless movie and really nothing. I thought The Rise of Gru was pretty good, though, and I mean, it's nothing special, but the whole plot with young Gru was pretty good. The movie makes me hate Despicable Me 3 more because of how his childhood was presented and how the minions were with him for that long, only for them to leave him in 3.
Up beforehand. Oops, sorry kid, what a sad accident. Guess we gotta watch something good instead.
Stop! I thought it was Shark Tale in that scene. I've actually never seen Shark Tale, but I've heard people say that it's like bad, but funny bad. Like so bad it's good.